Shannon and Zoolander, take one, action.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't need this. All right. Yo, what do they call me? They call me Devin Zoolander. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yeah, they call me Devin Zoolander. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I look good on camera. You know I look good on camera. We're gonna start off the show by playing a quick snippet of a song by Aaliyah called More Than a Woman, because she, my guest right here, Shannon Morales, is more than just someone who understands the tech industry. She actually helps people get jobs. Let's talk about More Than a Woman. All right, here we go. All right. Thank you, Aaliyah. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for giving us some music. All right, rest in peace, Aaliyah. Here we go real quick. Let's do this the right way. Okay, here we go right here. You know what time it is. Here we go. So, today is a special honor because when somebody invites you out to their office to do an interview, it's all special. And today is special because I'm sitting here with a woman that is a boss, a woman that helps people of color find fulfilling careers in tech and startup. She's been featured in Forbes. She's been featured in Built-In. She's been featured in Business Insider. That's right, Philly, and globally. The social professional, Afro-Latina. We're going to talk about that and what her demeanor is. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be really fun to talk about what is that like, being Afro-Latina. It's like you're black, but what kind of black is that? Well, we're going to talk about it. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to the social professional, the owner, CEO, and founder of Tribaja. Please put your hands together for the one and only Shannon Morales. I messed it up. It's all good. Yes, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, and we are so good because, you know, sometimes it's like, hey, you gotta, stuff has to fall in order for things to work out the way you want it to.
Absolutely.
Right.
I hear that.
Yeah, so I'm so happy to be here with you today because I was, like I shared before, I was really impressed by your Instagram profile. I thought that you have a way of, your marketing is very professional, yet it's very relatable. So I really appreciate that about your brand.
Thank you. Thank you. It definitely took some time, you know, to reconfigure that in a way that relates to professionals that, you know, our audience. And you know, I'm just trying to be relatable to show people that they can live their dream and do what they want to do as well.
Absolutely. Well, you're definitely doing that, and I just appreciate just the aesthetic. I appreciate everything that I've seen. So to start out, I want you to tell me about your childhood. Where did you grow up? What schools did you attend? And what activities were you involved in as a youth? Just tell me your business, girl.
Okay, nice. It's funny because now I got to take a trip back to memory lane. I grew up in Clifton, New Jersey, born and raised. I still live in Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl till I die. I went to Clifton High School. I played basketball. If you can't see, you know, tell because my legs are cut off, but I'm about 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
I played volleyball. I played AAU. I played a lot of basketball. I'll say that. I was very competitive. I spent about 7 years in dancing school, about 7 years in softball. I'm the only child, so my mom basically had me in everything possible to make sure that I wasn't out there in the streets or, you know, my attention was occupied elsewhere. It wasn't on boys. It was strictly focused on what I needed to be focused on, which was myself and my grades and just doing well. So that was my childhood. I grew up in a single family, single mom household, and it was me, my grandma, and I had a cousin who lived with me too.
Wow. Well, all right, I don't want to be ignorant here, but that very much sounds like the black experience. I think I saw that in a movie somewhere, yes. So that's really dope that you had that experience. I like the way that your mom kept you focused. She kept you involved in sports, and I like that you were able to excel in sports. And what I would like to touch on real quick is I want to know what lessons have you learned from being a competitive athlete that assist you in the business world today?
I learned a lot from competitive sports. I learned a lot about working with teams, working with other people. I learned a lot about leadership. But most importantly, I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I'm an overachiever, that I don't like to lose.
Right.
I don't like to lose in sports. I don't like to lose in life. And so if there's anything that I can control, myself, that I'm going to set out and I'm going to try and perfect, or, perfect those skills to make sure that I'm the best that I can be. And I learned that through sports, and anything that I can control myself, I'm going to go out there and try to control it and kick some butt at the same time.
Right. I like the way you edited it yourself right there. You smooth with it. Brand conscious. I appreciate that. Give you a round of applause, my sister. Yeah. I see you, player. And just to let you know, I have to say before we go any further, your lashes are popping. I see you over there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I had a photo shoot before the podcast, and it was for the Inquirer, and they're doing an article on me, so go check that out in the Philadelphia Inquirer. But yeah, we had to get the lashes popping to,
Well, yeah,
make it look glamorous.
They look great, and I love your glasses. Does that say Michael Kors?
It is Michael Kors.
All right,
shining. So
right, I see you shining. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. When you came through and I saw you had your glam on, I was like, is this Beyonce and Tribaja?
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Yes, isn't she great? Well, you are doing it. And I'm glad that you had the photo shoot. Definitely, everybody look out for that article when it comes out, because I'm sure you're going to learn a lot more about you and how you got your start and what your mission is.
Yes.
So let's talk about, when did your interest in the tech industry begin?
So actually my interest in the tech industry began in 2019. I know that doesn't seem, that far away, but I was looking for a space to transition into from finance. So I graduated college with a degree in finance, and it just wasn't a very creative industry. I don't know if anyone watching is also, maybe finance or accounting, but it's very, cut and dry. Like, this is what you have to do, and nothing really changes from year to year. And for me, that's not like how I think, and that's not how like I progress. And so I really wanted to get into a space that allowed me to be creatively free. And that industry happened to be technology, but I do it in very different ways. And, maybe you'll ask this question later, but I work in tech, but I don't know how to program, and I don't know how to code, but I'm in the industry. And so, within Tribaja, we kind of teach professionals how to transition into tech, even if they don't want to learn how to code.
That's very interesting, because I think, one of the reasons why I believe your company exists is because you recognize that there is a discrepancy in the underrepresentation of Black and brown people in the tech industry. And your company, Tribaja, that's what you directly address, right?
Yes, absolutely. So Tribaja was built because to provide access to job seekers from under-supported communities. I'm African American, I'm also Latina, and I really struggled to transition into tech. So I went from finance, which was already a, white male-dominated industry, and then to another white male-dominated industry. It wasn't as if, the door was wide open for an Afro-Latina female who, just wanted to, make six figures and be all that she can be in the tech industry. And so the struggles that I faced, I learned a lot along the way. I learned how to tailor my resume. I learned how to, speak the lingo of the tech industry. I learned how to network. I learned how to revise my LinkedIn so that it's popping just like my IG. So go check out my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But I learned all of these, different tricks and gems that maybe someone might not necessarily come out and tell you that this is the reason why they're denying you access to, maybe your interviewing process or something like that, because maybe they don't have the bandwidth or they don't have the time due to the amount of candidates that might apply to a job. So these are things that you have to learn within your network, your peer-to-peer network, who you surround yourself with. And as I started to learn all these things, I said, it would be great if you could just go someplace that kind of taught you all these things. You can network with professionals like yourself who are doing a similar transition or pivot into tech. You guys can feed off of each other, support one another, hold each other accountable. And then you also have professionals that have already been in there 5, 10 plus years that you can say, hey, can you refer me to, your employer? And so that's what we do, as well as we have partnerships with larger enterprises and companies like Lyft and DoorDash and Microsoft.
Wow.
And we are that referral for you.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely amazing. Just really quickly, I'll touch on my brief tech experience. I believe it was the winter of 2019. And for some reason, I just took an online course on Coursera, and I was able to graduate from it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get into the tech industry. And I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I'm going to just get started, and hopefully it leads somewhere that is fulfilling to me, both just spiritually, like my mind, but also for my pockets, because nothing is free out here. And I was working for American Eagle. They had this tech support department, and I was doing that. But while I was doing that, I realized I really don't feel as comfortable here. And I think about, I like to say I have like a lot of charisma and energy and passion. And just in that industry, I feel like I had this romanticized view of, oh, you can work from home. But this is what I want you to touch on. Now I'm going to bring it back to you.
Yeah.
So I want you to explain to people how working from home, while it has its benefits, how sometimes it can be more stressful working from home than actually being in your office space.
Yeah, no, it's so funny because, I, as a single mom, I have 3 daughters. Working from home was essential for me. And it was so essential that I needed to pivot to be in an industry that, where remote work is the norm. But when you think about remote work, you really are like your own entrepreneur. Like, you really are your own business, consulting, sitting in your home, managing your day, managing your work. And if you're not the type of person that can manage that without having someone, constantly be on you or asking you for certain deliverables, it may not be the right, transition for you in terms of like remote work. And I think a lot of people also have to think about what type of person they are. Like, do you thrive in like team settings where, you guys are in office spaces together and you need that like human interaction in order to continue to progress? Or are you the person that could work independently, have your laptop, do all the things that you need to do and make sure that you're hitting those deadlines and, reaching those objectives and those goals? I'm a very independent person. Like, I like to be alone. I like to get my work done. Tell me what I need to do. Let me do my work. Don't bother me until like the deadline, and then you'll probably already have it.
Right.
But I think people don't manage their time that way, and remote work is just not for everybody.
Right. Because I remember I did an interview with a woman before, and she was talking about how she had this corporate job, but then she decided to leave and lean into her business, her other businesses, which were side hustles at the beginning. But then when she realized that the job wasn't for her, she was like, no, I got to keep going. I got to do my own thing. And what she talked about is how when you decide to leave that corporate world and you're saying, okay, I'm going to go into real estate, or I'm going to go into do my own accounting firm or tax preparation or something like that, about how time management is essential. Because some people think, okay, now I get to call the shots. I need to make my own schedule. Like, I deal with it as an Uber driver. People will be like, yo, dog, like, you get to make your own schedule. That's amazing. And I tell them, no, that's ... Like, I also have to keep my own schedule. And if you don't keep your own schedule, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for.
No, absolutely. You have to manage your time, and you have to be self-motivated. And, I interview a lot of people, and I can see, it's just not for everybody. Remote work is just, not for everyone.
Right. Absolutely. Now, one thing that I noticed on your LinkedIn profile on the About section is that it states that you are an intrapreneur and an entrepreneur in residence. What is the difference between an intrapreneur and an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so, and I honestly don't know if this is like a new term, but before I became a full-time like entrepreneur, I actually was an innovation manager and underneath like a corporation. So I basically created startups within corporations. So that's an entrepreneur where you're creating businesses underneath a larger umbrella. So you're still employed by the corporation, but you're acting as their like in-house entrepreneur.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So that was really fun for me, but I was actually actively creating like multi-million-dollar businesses underneath someone else with getting a salary though. So I don't get the profits, or a portion of the equity for those ideas that were my own. And in a sense, I felt like I'm gypped, right?
Yeah,
I'm getting gypped.
Right.
I'm doing everything.
Right.
I'm the CEO. I'm the founder of these, businesses and developing them, creating the ideas. This is all my brain power. And then the company gets to take advantage because of the fact that they're paying me a salary. And so I said, forget that. I can create my own startup from scratch. And I can keep doing that over and over again if I choose, because these are my ideas.
Absolutely. Speaking of startup, I have it on good authority, meaning that I was doing my Googles.
I was going to say, you Google something?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All right, just had to do that real quick because I see you in here. You're like, is this interview going to be boring? No, it's not. You're just sitting down with the man. Now, in 2020, you got accepted into the Philly Startup Leaders Program. I want to know, what tools did you pick up at PSL that impacted the birth of Tribaja?
Oh, my goodness. I learned so many things. I learned about what an MVP is, which is like minimum viable product. Do you know what that is?
No, hell no. Oh. Hey, go ahead.
No, you're being honest. So for a lot of like entrepreneurs and like, those of us who have like side hustles, when we want to go full-time entrepreneur, we think that we have to launch with everything. We have to launch with the bells, the whistles, the marketing, the team, the technology. But what I learned in Philly Startup Leaders Accelerator program was not only how to launch, but how to launch fast and how to launch with like a minimum viable product. I launched with myself, a spreadsheet, and a newsletter, and that was it. And I think I got my first customer just using those tools. Very, very simple, a Google sheet. I don't even know. I think I have like a Wix website or, something like that. But it's just like you have to launch. There's never going to be the right time for you to, launch your business. It's just something that you have to believe in yourself. You have to take that risk and you have to just go out there and do it.
Right. That's interesting that you said Wix website because I was recently talking with a friend about she wants to start her business and she wants to get started and people are like, hey, I like what you do. I like what you put up on Instagram. So where's the business at? And she's like, I don't really know. I'll get my website together. And we were talking about, should we do the Wix site or should it be Squarespace? So what is your advice for an entrepreneur that is looking to market themselves, whether it's acting, whether it's podcasting? How would you advise them to go about creating a website just to have a reference point for people to look at?
I think it's important. I mean, it's a game changer. It shows your professionalism, right? It shows that you're serious about your business. So if you don't have a website, people will normally just forget about you. You need to have that front-facing item, that product, that initial landing page to kind of showcase who you are and give people that first view into your product or your services. There's so many out there. Wix is just one, but like you said, Squarespace and Shopify and Makeshift, and there's so many different like templated websites nowadays. Like you don't have to go out there and find a website design company.
Right.
You can take pictures, maybe get somebody to take pictures on a clear or plain background, and then use those and put those on your website. Like it's another thing that I told someone, a creative, and they didn't, they said they didn't have enough money to kind of like launch, this portfolio or gallery. And I said, use Instagram. That is your portfolio. That is your gallery. And just use that link as you're almost like, here's my portfolio. Everything on IG is mine. It's my personal creations. People overthink the process. And that's why it's like, take it a step back and say, what's the minimum thing that I have to show to customers to make them buy in to what I'm doing?
Right. Wow. Well, that's really sound advice. And I'm glad that you said that because I think when you are doing something, especially as a creative, I think that there is just we all get overwhelmed, but it's something different about when you have a job, when you have a passion that you know isn't really normalized as real work. So when you're battling against, not only am I trying to make it in my industry, but I'm also trying to create a brand for myself that people will take seriously, I think that sometimes we don't realize the power that we have on our social media platforms.
Yes, absolutely. I think people buy in, and I know. Let me take a step back. I know that people buy into you as a person before they buy into your brand. And it's because your brand is new. You know, you don't have a whole bunch of testimonials. You just started. And so they want to know who is the person behind the brand, you know, and your personal brand needs to be developing as you're developing that product or service that, you know, you're going to eventually launch, because people are going to look you up. You know, they're going to say, hey, who's Shannon of Tribaja? How did she get started? You know, what other things is she working on? And they'll see, okay, awesome. I know her story. She's a single mom. She's an Afro-Latina. She has every right to be building Tribaja because it's exactly what the community needs that she's serving, but she's also a part of that community.
Right.
And so I think however you can tie in who you are personally to your business, it's only going to help you grow.
Right. Now, I'm going to switch subjects a little bit. On February 1st, you highlighted Parity, a Black woman-owned business in Baltimore that received $2 million from JP Morgan Chase & Company on your LinkedIn profile. Let's clap it up for that. Yes, we love Black women on this show. Don't listen to what you heard, because I have a friend named Tiara that will vouch for me that I love y'all. Let me get back to you. You need to calm down. All right. Speaking of Parity, how much progress has the tech industry made in diversifying its workforce, and how much still needs to be done to increase ethnic and cultural parity? Oh, you like that question?
That was a good question.
And we're back. Devin Zoolander sitting here with the one and only Shannon Morales. I can't roll my R's. That's enough. Now, when we last left off, we were asking a loaded question, but we realized because of time constraints, we have to move on really quickly. Now, you have a Diversitech Summit coming up next month, which is tomorrow. Next is March. What are your goals for this event?
Yes. So I could talk a little bit about the summit and, you know, what people can expect from the summit. I know that didn't answer your question, though, kind of.
Let's go ahead and get business. I'm just here.
It's going to, once I wrap it up. So Diversitech Summit is March 16th to the 18th, and it's basically a very low commitment way for people to explore what tech could mean for them. So we have technical careers and non-technical careers, and we have professionals kind of sharing their stories about how they were able to successfully transition into tech. So you have people who transition from customer service into customer success. Yes, that's a thing, and it's in tech, and it pays 6 figures, so let's go.
All right.
We also have a panel on technical recruiting, which is what I do. I recruit great candidates and great talent for mission-driven tech companies, like I said, like Lyft and DoorDash and all those great companies. And then at the end, you can come and interview live with those companies.
Wow.
So I am providing you a access pass to the front door of tech companies. So definitely, it's free for job seekers. Just pull up. You know, I don't know what else to do. I'm literally giving these tickets away for free. So I just want our community to take advantage, you know, of all that this summit has to offer. It's really just everything that Tribaja embodies all in one summit. Once a year. We only do this once a year. And then we have a closing reception at the W in Philadelphia. That's from 6 to 9, open bar from 6 to 8. Pull up on that too.
Pull up on the open bar. Just make sure that you have a designated driver.
A designated driver.
Hello.
Yes. And if not, we have room blocks for you. We have some room blocks at the W under Tribaja. So
okay.
If you need to stay, you know,
right.
try to be safe.
Wow. That is amazing. Let me clap it up for you, my sister. Yeah. I see you. Man. No, you got a kind heart. Anyway, sorry, I was watching. This has been very wonderful. Last thing, the last question I want to ask you here, Shannon, what are some words of encouragement or some words, a quote, a song lyric, a Bible verse, whatever it is that you tell yourself whenever the going gets tough?
Whenever the going gets tough, I honestly always feel like I'm tougher. I mean, there's nothing that has been able to stop me, and I don't think that anything in this, realm of the world can stop me from anything that was meant for me. And that's what I always say to myself is like, if this is meant for me, then it's for me. Nobody can stop, me from achieving my goals that God has already placed. It's already there. It's already, I'm manifesting it,
okay.
But God has already decided that this is what I was meant to do. I'm just, realizing it and taking it in as I go. But my gifts and everything that I have, and continue to have was already mine. So I'm just claiming it.
Okay, I see you. Well, let me go ahead and close this show on out, and let me just give us some, just sit back, relax. I got you, player. Okay. Watch me work. Yes. Well, this has been another episode of the Devin Zoolander Show. I am so honored to have sat here with you, Shannon Morales. That's right. So if you're out there and you're thinking, you know what, I've always considered a career in tech, then you need to make sure that you go to the Diversitech Summit, where Shannon already explained that they have everything that you need, and there is no excuse for you to not pursue the career that you've always wanted to pursue. Are there any last words? Oh, where can the people find you?
So I'm on IG at The Social Professional, and my business is at Tribaja.co. So that's TRIBAJA.co on IG, and join_Tribaja on Twitter.
All right. Well, excellent. This has been a wonderful experience. I am so happy that we got to do this. So for all of you out there, wait for this episode to drop. It's going to be fire. But in the meantime, remember, stay moisturized and mind your business. That's right, just mind your business. I'm Devin Zoolander, and I am so much cooler than you. Yes! All right, as we fade out.